ants. Perhaps the most iconic insect in the world, and that's a more impressive ant achievement than it sounds. Much like on my kitchen countertop, they always seem to pop up out of nowhere. And yes, they can lift 10 to 50 times your own body weight. Yeah, that's not impressive. If humans were shrunk to the size of ants, we could also lift 10 to 50 times our own body weight. It's just a byproduct of muscle size because larger muscles can't bend as easily. It's nothing Hey, my name's Giraffe Reese, and this is The Ant Bully, the video game. I like to think everyone has one of these fever dream children's movies they think of regularly. They aren't good movies, but they aren't bad either. I enjoy this movie. And fun fact most people wouldn't remember, this was made by DNA Productions, the makers of Jimmy Neutron. Clearly this was poised to be their next big hit. I mean, this game released before the movie did, meaning technically the movie is an adaptation of the game, so it's The Ant Bully, the video game, the movie, but when every version flops, semantics aren't too concerning. I did play this as a kid, not that I remember it at all, so let's see how good or bad the tie-in video game of a 5 out of 10 children's movie can be. As an example of how truly soulless, how little anyone cared about making this game, on the main menu there are no options, so you cannot adjust controls or mess with different volumes until you start the game. But you can go to extras and watch trailers for other video games. Yes, they cared so little about this game, they said, let's at least shove a couple commercials in there. And the ads don't even run properly. I haven't hit new game yet, and I already have problems with the performance. But hey, let's breathe. This could just be an emulation issue. Okay, yeah, no, the intro cutscene is just as bad. Also notice this little kitty face on the wall. You see that? I checked online and this game is supposedly perfect for emulation, but I found a note mentioning the cutscenes being choppy. Regardless, I won't hold this against the game. It's my fault for being a greedy little emulator in the first place. For the uninitiated, Ant Bully is the story of Lucas, a young social outcast who takes pleasure in tormenting ants because it gives him the slightest taste of sweet, sweet power. The ants are supernaturally intelligent and use voodoo magic to turn him ant-size. The queen ant, who I am not sexually attracted to at all, decides to give Lucas a chance to go home if he can learn the ways of the ants and prove he's more than just the Destroyer, as they call him. The game begins right after that decision is made, and our first task is to gather some pupas. Oh no, this colony has that brain fungus thing. I'm never getting out of here. This opening level is terrible. The game is exactly what you'd expect from this era of Midway, a 3D platformer with light action and puzzle solving. Please consult the chart. However, this is the only one that proves you can screw up even the simplest concepts. I got stuck here. Yes. There is no tutorial aside from A to pick up and X to throw. I wouldn't fuck with this kid. What's missing from this tutorial is the fact that this game has no jump button. All of the platforming is context sensitive. You jump by running over ledges. If the game is going to be this context sensitive, why am I here? But whatever, we finished the walking tutorial.
Nice work for a two-legger.
Did you just hard R me, you filthy invertebrate? You pheromone-dependent, no lungs having, no ears having, perpetually inbred, formicidae! I am the god of the earth, as my father is God in heaven. You will learn your place! Back to the game, the nursery gets attacked by roly-polies, so we get a taste of combat. You mash B, and I think you have a dodge button. The end. Lucas is really unmotivated, and I would be too if I was forced to live with some inferior tribal species, and learn their inferior tribal ways. For now, the ants want Lucas to focus on teamwork, so we'll keep that in mind for later. We enter the colony as a hub world, which is neat. You can actually admire the lore paintings here and enter the meeting room. The 4 main ants of the story stay here as quest givers. The hub ends up feeling like a massive waste of time though. After every mission you spawn here, and have to walk through a couple rooms to accept another quest. Why? The quests are completely linear, you can't do them in whatever order you choose, so why not just go mission to mission with no hub? Not that the missions are desirable, the first mission is a basic combat trial, so just mash B and you'll win. Next mission is to protect caterpillars from assassin bugs. That's simple enough, but once we're done, we need to do some platforming to gather parts for a weapon. Again, all context sensitive. At this point, just remove platforming from the genres. Ant Bully is a puzzle game with light action. Third mission introduces orders, which are, you guessed it, context-sensitive spots where you gather ants to traverse an obstacle. They basically all do the same thing, just for different heights and distances. Also, we face earwigs in combat, which block our hits unless we use our new weapon on them first. The Silk Spitter, which just stuns enemies for a few seconds. Next, we do an obstacle race, which is just more ant calls with the added annoyance of child actors repeating the same lines every second.
Later, losers! Later, losers! Hey, it's a race, remember? Later, losers!
If you didn't know, Zoc, the ant shaman who shrunk us in the first place, doesn't like us very much and sends us to the cactus garden for more weapon parts, but secretly to have us die. He still calls us Destroyer even when everyone else has a cute nickname for us. I get it's supposed to be an insult, but it's like Chinese anti-American propaganda. It just makes us seem so cool and powerful. Next level, Hova, who is the nice motherly ant, wants us to help rescue lost children. No different from the food gathering quest, plus we have the new weapon. These roly-polies have a lot of anal capacity, but pump till she's plump is what I say. The levels are already getting repetitive, but the game quickly spices things up with a boring turret level. Classic. This game seems to have all the voice actors from the movie, which makes sense if this was made in tandem with said movie, and wow do they earn their paycheck. So far the only legitimately good parts of the game are great voice acting and graphics that fit the source material. Props for a movie game that actually feels like an extension of the movie. After shooting down the wasps, we get a boss. In concept, the boss is clever. We can't hit it. The goal is to push glass shards into position and refract light onto the wick of a firecracker, blowing up the wasp. In practice, the boss can two-tap you, has the hitbox of whatever she feels like, and can push back the glass whenever she wants. By the way, you can tell this wasp is female because only female wasps have stingers. That fun fact is more fun than the boss, which eventually goes the way of my uncle's left ring finger. Next is another boss, actually. We get introduced to spider enemies, which are ridiculous to fight. They don't even walk, they just float around really fast, and sometimes it's considered an attack. The combat is piss poor. Our camera is garbage, so they give you Z targeting, but that only works when it's had its morning coffee. Based on how annoying the normal spiders were, I assume the boss spider was meant to be quite threatening, but it just froze in place and let me throw bombs at it, so I guess we'll never know. The next mission is to break out ants from these gas chambers that, let's be honest, may or may not have existed. This earns us the pheromone goggles, which helps us find secrets. Finally, I can see when girls are ovulating. Oh, yeah, she wants it bad. The next mission is combat because Hova gets trapped and needs our rescuing. Then Folgath gets trapped and needs our rescuing. Less motivating, but fine, we save him too. Wow! The next mission takes place inside Lucas's house. Whole new assets, that legitimately caught me off guard. I thought this game had already given up, but okay, few more spasms. Lucas says he called off the exterminator, which makes sense if you saw the movie, but the game gives no context for what that means. This level is gathering sugar, but I'm more interested in this crayon. I literally got out of my chair and bent over to read this upside down text. I think it says penis down? Okay. Oh, whoa, really? Right here? Oh, what will the others think? Oh, of course. That's what you meant. I think some voice lines and maybe a cutscene didn't play here, but it doesn't matter. The whole game is linear, context-sensitive puzzles. There's very little guesswork, so not hearing explanations? Who fucking cares? This last area sucks anyway. And oh joy, another boss. Croaker? I barely know her. There are a few cutscenes here that remind you that these actors are wasted on this game.
The important thing is to remain calm, ladies. Remain calm! We must not panic!
The frog boss is very confusing at first. It runs on a cycle of 3 tongue flicks, then chilling in the water to charge a wave attack. I thought the idea was to make him eat bombs, as video game bosses have done for 30 years or so, but no. You avoid those and shoot its eyes when it charges the wave, then throw bombs into its open mouth, which the game has conveniently placed just outside of your range. Next level is a recycle of the house level to rescue some ants, though it has a cool part where you walk through a couch. But no, actually, don't make me paranoid about ants in my couch. Back to the spider den to rescue more ants, and I realize I can wall climb infinitely now. There was a time limit that vanished at some point. I have done it! I am an ant! No longer girafferes call me Gerantony! Oh, finally, a story mission. We need to convince the wasps to join forces against the exterminator. Hey, we're closely related. Should be a cinch. This is the final level, not that you could tell. Just good old-fashioned rehashed browns. Some cutscenes happen, and we immediately go to the final boss. We're like 4 hours into the game? Admittedly, I like the boss. You do some Space Harrier drive-by shooting on the exterminator, he runs off, and that's it. That's the game. Didn't even roll credits because to truly beat the game, you need all 100 fire crystals to return to human size. Nah. The conclusion of the story isn't all that satisfying. Even as a kid, when I was way more positive of the ants, I had the thought of, when I get back to being big, these ants are fucking dead. No jelly beans, they're getting molten aluminum. So yeah, why does this exist? I think I've proven it wasn't good as a video game. The obvious truth is that DNA, or a larger company, must have thought Ant Bully would be big. There must have been some confidence that this could turn into a larger franchise like Jimmy Neutron, so churning out a game made sense for marketing and building the brand, but Ant Bully never really had that chance. I'd say the two main reasons this was doomed to flop are the main character and the world both just not being fit for a franchise, or really kids in general. It's well written, but it lacks the appeal Jimmy Neutron had. Jimmy is a boy genius. That's a desirable fantasy. Kids would want to be a boy genius. Who wants to be a slave for ants?
What?
Lucas, which is also a boring name, isn't cool. Kids aren't going to be entertained by him. The world is fun and whimsical, but it has nowhere to go. It's always going to be tiny thing looking at bigger thing. It's a shame the movie flopped, because I do like it. Honestly, it wouldn't have been hard to fix. I would make Lucas a boy genius so he's at least kind of cool, then have him be obsessed with ants because they always have friends, they always get along, while he's a bullied outcast. He would shrink himself to hang out with ants, maybe go from big to small a couple times to flesh out some other human characters, then have the device break so he's stuck being small until he learns a lesson. Movie could end the same, but now other kids can get small and hang out with ants, or the ants can get big to hang out with humans. That's a better franchise starter, if nothing else. Unfortunately, this game serves as a flower on the grave of this franchise, and DNA Productions in general. This was the only franchise they tried to get going after they struck gold on Jimmy Neutron. Of course, they did make all of the other reindeer, which was a fucking banger, but, you know, that's different. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, a like and subscription mean a lot, and if you didn't like it, well, why the hell not? You better comment and tell me. Also, hey, as a special treat for you, the people who made it this far into the video, let me tell you a secret. Remember that ant I killed earlier? Did that bother you? Did that seem cruel or pointless? Probably not, but to some people, it might. So here's the secret. There was no ant. I fooled you. I don't kill unless I eat, and I didn't want to eat an ant. But shh, don't tell nobody. This is just for you. Anyways, take care.